And let's continue the conversation with Julia Manchester, national politics reporter with our partners at The Hill. Julia, thanks so much for being here.
Thank you for having me, Kelly. Good to see you.
Great to see you, too. So what's been the reaction from the U.S. and allies on this one?
Well, like Kelly Meyer said in her hit, this isn't a surprise to the U.S. and their allies. This was expected. However, they're not happy about this because it comes at a point in the Ukraine war where we are seeing, Ukraine continuing to, in the Russian side as well, struggle against each other. And you're seeing both sides really trying to round up as much funds and military material as possible. And this is really a trip about that. You have Vladimir Putin essentially going to ask Kim Jong Un for more aid in this regard. And then on top of that, we obviously know that the U.S. doesn't want to continue to see North Korea continue to build its own missile program and its own military program. And we are seeing that Kim Jong Un will likely ask Putin for that as well. So this is going to be a potential deal in the making. And I would say that much of the West and U.S. allies not happy about this.
Yeah, I would say so as well. So this meeting, as you mentioned, believed to be focused on working out an arms deal. So, Julia, how do you think the U.S. and allies should and will react if North Korea ends up sending weapons to Russia?
I think you will likely see U.S., Ukrainian allies, kind of put on a show of unity against this. This is very much two sides of the world against each other, the U.S., Ukraine, Western European world. And of course, you have Russia and North Korea. So I think you're probably going to see a show of unity. But I think from the U.S. perspective, there's a lot of questions as to what future aid to Ukraine looks like. We know that there are growing concerns in the United States, particularly among some in the Republican Party, that, there's a question as to how long we're going to give this aid to Ukraine and how much of that are we going to give. We've seen these large aid packages given, but I think there's concerns about when does that money run out or when do we start putting that money elsewhere. So the U.S. side, President Biden, really going to think about that going forward.
So can you put this into context for us? And I hear you. How much of a concern is this for the U.S.? We've already seen Putin meeting with China's leader. Does the U.S. put North Korea on the same level?
I would say they definitely put those three countries, Russia, China, and North Korea, sort of in an adversarial category, if you will. But North Korea is sort of an entirely different animal because we know that the U.S. doesn't really have any diplomatic channels with North Korea at this point, very much shut off from North Korea. We know that North Korea and South Korea don't have a good relationship, and South Korea is a major ally of the U.S. And there's a concern about nuclear weapons and growing North Korean weapons program and such. So that's going to be a big concern for Americans right now.
All right, Julia Manchester, appreciate your analysis. Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.